Hello and welcome to Tier List Thursday. New idea, I thought I would do a tier list or a ranking every Thursday for you. Today, lucky enough, kicking it off with a Super Rugby tier list, I thought. Now, what we've done is we're going to encompass every team that's played in Super Rugby. So this is going to be a list of the best Super Rugby teams ever to do it in all of Super Rugby, starting all the way back from 1996 all the way through to today. The only two teams I've left out are the two additional teams that joined Super Rugby Unlocked in South Africa. I believe it was the Pumas, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce the other one, but it started with G, I believe. So we're going to run through all the other teams by those two teams, and we're going to rank them. And the scale we're using today is the best, great, good, meh, and please leave. So what I want is ideally similar amounts in each category, other than maybe the top and the bottom ones, but most will be in the middle, I assume, but similar amounts in the category. So there will be some tough decisions in there. Let's kick it off straight away. We are starting with the Waratahs. Again, I don't know how this order's worked itself out, but it has. Starting with the Waratahs are going to go in good straight away, an easy one. And we might come back to the end and change it up, but they're good for me. Waratahs won championship to their name. I am tempted to just about have them in meh because they should be better for the talented rugby players that they have brought up and in their group and in their cohort, I'd say, in their region. They should be better. But a big thing for me, I think, for them is going to be the Brumbies. So for now, they're in good. They may end up in the low end of good or top of meh because that one championship. But that shouldn't be a defining reason, just one championship when, competition's been going for about 30 years. Now, coming up to 30 years. The next are the Cheetahs. I'm going to start them in meh. Now, a lot will be saying please leave because they've already left, obviously. But they had some years where there was definitely improvements with the Cheetahs, and they were always a good team to watch, even though they've never been great, never been one of the top South African sides. It was always a good squad to watch, always a good team to watch, always enjoyed watching my Hurricanes or any of those New Zealand teams take on the Cheetahs. So I'm going to put them in meh at the moment. I don't think if there was an opportunity to get a team like the Cheetahs back into Super Rugby, I think we'd take it as well, just to have a South African Super Rugby team again, as us New Zealanders may feel. Stormers next. Stormers is a tough one. I'm going to have them in great for now. I've actually changed my mind. I'm going to put them in meh. In good, sorry. And I'm going to put them below the Waratahs. No championships to their name, one final. Stormers are always a hard one because the Stormers have always been a really good South African team. You think about playing the Stormers from a New Zealand perspective, and you always know it's going to be a hard battle. But to not win any Super Rugby championships stands out and has them below the Waratahs. But I would fear playing the Stormers more than I would the Waratahs other than that 2014 year. But yeah, that's where the Stormers go. Sunwolves, I'm going to put in please leave. And now I want to put an asterisk here. Like the Sunwolves, I think, was a great idea at the time. Like even looking at now, Japanese rugby growing, really good idea. But wasn't executed well. And seeing them get beaten by 60, 70, 80 points was disappointing. I think we're in a better position now to do something with Japanese rugby and either a team into Super Rugby or cross-conference games with the talent coming out of there. But the Sunwolves, please leave, and gladly they did. The Lions are actually a really tough one to do because of recency bias when they were last in. I think it was 2016, 17, 18. They were in the Super Rugby finals, didn't win any, but were in the finals. Were the Cats for a while, and the Cats weren't great, went back to the Lions. I'm going to put them above the Stormers, and that might be recency bias. But the Lions in those last years of the whole Super Rugby, pre-COVID Super Rugby, were a very good team. And I think for that, they just go above the Stormers. But let me know. That one may be a tough call. The Bulls, I'm going to put up in the best. I think they're the best South African team to do it, with 3 championships to their name. And I still remember the one over the Sharks. So the Bulls, to me, are the best South African team ever. And you'll see when I get to the Sharks where they're ranked. But yeah, the Bulls, to me, you can't make an argument to me, 3 championships, the best South African team, them not to be at least in that category. The Rebels, pretty easy. They're on their way out. Please leave. They've had enough chances, enough opportunity, force to leave the competition just for them to be garbage this whole time. Haven't looked like getting any better. Have had probably their best recruitment this year and are still rubbish. It's pretty easy to say they need to leave. Jaguares is a really hard team to rank. I'm going to put them in great for now, and just give me a minute here. They came into the competition in 2016 and then made a final in 2019. That would be like the Judah making the final next year, or Moana Pacifica making the final next year. Now, we can sit there and say, oh yeah, they were made up of mostly the Argentina national team, but that's why they were so great. And I think it was such a cool idea, and that's why I think there's definitely reasons to bring it back. I don't think they'll be as strong, because I think the group that group brought up have taken up a lot of opportunities overseas. But I think it's a really good idea for Argentina rugby, and I think it's a good idea for Super Rugby to have a team like the Jaguares in it. I think they go into the growth that they had each year, and the better they got each year, they deserve to be in great. And you look at it and you go, if COVID hadn't happened, they hadn't been kicked out, could we be already talking about a Jaguares title, which would have been quicker than the Waratahs or the Lions have done it, because Waratahs only one, Lions Stormers none yet. The Brumbies are why the Waratahs aren't that good. Only in Canberra, not too far away, and basically have all the talent, the group that they have there. They are the best Australian franchise ever, and I don't think it's that close when we look at the whole history. Obviously, the titles to their name, having 2 there, and then having 4 finals appearances, they are by far, to me, the best Australian team. Now, they've obviously haven't made a final. I think the last final was 2013, and they haven't they still haven't ever looked bad, as one of the things. Like, you look at the Rebels or something like that, they've never really looked bad. So to me, they go up there as the best Australian team, and that gets them into that category on their own. The Fijian Dura, I'm going to put good at the moment, at the low end of good, and the only reason they're not higher is probably some of the results, their away results, the way that their home victories have re-energised Super Rugby has been great for the game. And I really, really think that they're growing. Every single year they're growing, they're getting better. I think in a couple of years' time, 2, 3, 4 years' time, they'll be up in that great category. But for now, I would put them below the Stormers. Stormers, with all the history that they've got, Dura, go there. The Kings, easy one there for me. Please leave. And this was just a bad idea around. I think the Cheetahs were bad enough in their own right, but good enough to stay in the comp. When we tried to introduce the Kings, and just the disaster that was, there's not much more you can say there. They weren't good enough and didn't deserve to be in that competition. The Sharks, the best, great, but above Jaguares, 4 finals, 4 losses, I believe. A really good team. Again, Sharks, they are above the Stormers on history with their performances, but aren't as good as the Bulls. It's kind of starting to make a bit more sense now. The Highlanders are a really hard one. 1 finals win, 1 finals loss. Where do they go? I'm going to put them in here behind the Waratahs. I actually think I'm going to put them behind the Lions, and I know that's controversial, but you're a New Zealand team. That's what we've got to think here. This is a New Zealand team now, the Highlanders, that have won 1 championship. In all questions, controversial. Yes, I know I'm a Hurricanes fan. I'm going to say that, but controversial circumstances. To me, they should have won more where we are at now. Their win, probably not as good as the Waratahs win. The Lions making 3 finals again might be recency bias, but in whole, I think the Highlanders sit in that good section. The Force, going to Matt. Now, the Force are a team that we need in Super Rugby, I think. Again, the Western Australia sporting landscape is still pretty young, and I think if we can keep the Force and keep them growing, it will get better and better as time goes on. But we're still doing some work after what we did with kicking them out of the comp. So, yeah, there's a lot there in my mind that Force are doing. Need them in the comp. We don't want them to leave. But they are just a meh team, aren't they? Like, they are very similar to the Cheetahs, where we want to beat those teams. You expect to beat them, but they'll upset once in a while, have a good season once in a while. Moana Pacifica, again, a young team. I'm going to put them below, and I'm actually going to put them there. I'm going to put them there for now. Below them there. We don't want them to leave. They're obviously competitive enough this year to not leave. It's a great breeding ground for talent out of Samoa and Tonga and the Pacific Islands. But this lack of identity in New Zealand rugby's got to work on that. Kind of gives them a meh at the moment. Like, what is happening, what's next for them, we don't really know. So, yeah, that's where I sit with them, is deserve to be in the comp. We need them in the comp, but we need to work on how we can get them to the level of good. The Reds, one final appearance, one win. I'm going to put them above the Lions. I think they sit right next to the Waratahs, where they're a good team, but with the talent they have coming out of Brisbane and Queensland, I think they should be better. I think they should have more results to be up in the great, and they don't deserve to be any higher or lower than that. So that's where I've got the Reds going there. Now, the Blues are a really hard one to judge because 3 championships, 2 finals. Obviously, there was a middle 2010s there where they were rubbish and everyone loved it because they had dominated early stages along with the Crusaders. I'm going to put them in good, and I'm going to put them above the Waratahs. And the reason I'm doing this is for the talent. Again, we're talking talent-wise. I blame the Waratahs and the Reds because they've got enough talent coming out of those 2 regions to be better performances. Out of Auckland, where the best rugby schools are meant to be in Auckland, the Blues haven't delivered, and with that, they go good. Yes, they've won 3 titles. We can chuck those all the way back. And in recent, they've improved, and they're probably, you know what, I'm going to do it. They're low-end great. They are low-end great. For the titles, the history, there was obviously a sticky patch in the middle there, but they're low-end great. That's how I go. The Chiefs are 2 finals appearances, 2 finals wins. I am actually going to put them over the Blues, over the Jaguares. Do I put them over the Sharks? I do. I think the Chiefs wins are good enough to put them over the Sharks. They're not quite the best, but I think the Chiefs are up there with the second best New Zealand side and comfortably deserve that sitting as top end of a great Super Rugby franchise. The Crusaders, let's jump on to the Crusaders now. The best of the best, no doubt about it. 12 championships, I believe it is. 16 finals appearances. There's not much. They had their own category. I'm honest, actually, let's be honest. Let's do this. There's no one better. You can't even argue that the fact that I've now changed the game and that doing so, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do this. And then we're at about where I believe. Now, the Jura dropping down to Mayor is pretty harsh. I agree with that. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I know this is going to piss every Stormers fans off, and I've sat there and I've talked their praise. They should be disappointed with their results. That's the only reason they're in Mayor is their results. The actual franchise, I think, is a good franchise. It's just the results are Mayor. Obviously, the URC, they've gone over and won that. Like, there's no doubt the Stormers are better winning where I'm ranking them here, but they didn't win a Super Rugby Championship. And I'm actually, you know what, the Blues go above the Sharks there. Sharks haven't won any championships. Same there. You know what? As hard as it is, and as much as I don't want to, winning the championship is what you go out to do. So the Sharks sit there, Waratahs, Reds, and Highlanders, all 3 of them are in the same group to me. Jaguares, Lions, Dura and good, Stormers, yep. And then the Hurricanes. Hurricanes have always got this myth about them that they could be the best as we sit here 5-0 in Super Rugby Pacific, but then under-deliver. And they are very much an up-and-down ride. They've got the 1 finals win. They were really good. Obviously, they lost to the Highlanders in the final. When in that Bowden Barrett era, then you go back to like Tana Umanga, then you go Christian Cullen, Joan Allen. You know, the eras of players are fantastic, but not good enough. They win a title, so I think if you're ranking them there and 2 finals, they go above all of these teams. I think they jump the Sharks as much as it's a tough one. Do they jump the Blues and the Chiefs? No. 2 titles. I know they've had 3, but I'm going with that middle patch of Super Rugby in the middle deserves to drop them down. So that is my order. Bang. Not quite even, but that's because I decided the Crusaders were the only best team in this list today. And then we had the free please leave, which 2 of them have left, 1 on their way out, potentially. Let me know what you think of this tier list. Every single Thursday I'll be doing tier list Thursday or ranking Thursday or something Thursday. But my name's been Luke. I've been from the Sports Booth, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.